Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. Hope you enjoy. Story number 1. The Art to End a War, written by Jasha E. The war between the Empire and the humans had raged for far too long. The Empire, used to swiftly crushing any resistance with overwhelming force, was downright annoyed by the humans' insistence to keep fighting. Granted, they managed to destroy a fleet or two, but the Empire knew they would break, like so many before them. The Empire was eternal. Resistance was temporary. It took several years, but finally the humans sent a missive requesting to negotiate a surrender. That took them this long to see the futility of their efforts would mean that they wouldn't be allowed spacefaring technology for several generations. Most of their worlds claimed for settlement or mining by the Empire. To their credit, they showed the humility befitting their position. Only 3 diplomats would be sent to the Empire's crowned world, dressed in traditional human garb of mourning and atonement, which, as the negotiators gleefully noted, included to cover their heads in ash. As a small human ship finally arrived at the crowned world spaceport, it was informed that, regrettably, there was simply no room to dock at the diplomats' terminal. They would need to dock in this commercial district. The Empire was not a graceful winner, and would take every opportunity to inflict indignities to those that were stupid enough to resist its eternal reign. "What is that?" The soldier pointed to a small, weirdly elongated creature one of the humans was carrying. "A companion animal from our homeworld, intended to amuse the Eternal Majesty and aid in negotiations." The soldier displayed mirth. If these primitives wanted to wager their species' future on this being's ability to do little tricks, so be it. "Very well then, follow me." The path their procession took was, by no means, the shortest one. It wound through the port, giving the Empire citizens ample time to make a spectacle out of the humans coming to surrender. The soldiers leading them then made a path through the military wing of the port, parading the human diplomats like he personally captured them, and making sure that they saw the unbroken light of the Empire, should they even think about backtracking on the surrender. It took the better part of a day before the dignitaries were even brought to the planet's surface and shown to their quarters at the outskirts of the palace. Quarters might have been a euphemistic, cells might have been more fitting a description. There they waited, of course. The Eternal Majesty was very busy, and meeting a bunch of backwater diplomats was not high priority. Almost 2 full days passed before they were escorted from their quarters to the palace proper. Long stretches of walking under the burning sun, past rows and rows of honor-guard soldiers, past monuments enshrining the Empire's many victories, some of them decorated with the remains of the losing parties. Their guide liked to point those out. More waiting amidst the honor guards before they were finally shown to the throne room. The humans walked as close to the throne as they were permitted, before falling to their knees and touching the ground with their ash-covered heads. Well, for primitives they did perform well in regards to palace protocol. Even the odd companion animal had been trained to lay down. "You may speak," a dignitary informed them. They were not worthy to be addressed by the Eternal Majesty. "Thank you for granting us this audience with your Eternal Majesty. We are here today to bring an end to the war between your Grand Empire and ourselves, and to negotiate a satisfactory surrender. I would like to begin the negotiation by telling your Majesty about my species' history, and why we brought this animal along." "Do you believe your history or your pet will move us to sanction you any less? I'm certain your Majesty will find my words helpful in determining the conditions of the surrender." There was a near imperceptible gesture on the throne. "Tell your story, human." "Thank you. Your Majesty, when our species was young, long before we discovered metalworking, there was a fierce predatory species with which we had to contend. Wolves, they were called. Odin here," he pointed at a small creature beside him, "is one of their descendants. Through centuries, we managed to make it the fierce predator, our companion, a friend, often integrated into human families." "Do you suggest we keep humans as pets?" The contempt dripped from the dignitary's words. "Oh no, your Majesty. I've not been clear. As your majesty will have doubtlessly observed, Odin here does not exactly look like a dangerous predator. He is part of a subspecies that has many unflattering names today, like sausage dog, based on his shape. But originally their name was Dachshund. It's named after the burrowing critter that they were bred to hunt. You see, these critters made deep, complicated burrows much too small for the humans to follow. So we bred dogs that were small, aggressive, and stubborn enough to run into the dark to face an animal twice their size. We are aware of humanity's aggressive tendencies and stubbornness. Do you suggest humans become the Empire's hounds? No, your majesty. I'm saying, when my species was huddled around fires, wearing furs and using stone tools, we already created bioweapons. Thank you for the extended tour through your spaceport's many facilities and this audience. I believe we are now ready to negotiate your surrender. End of story. Story number 2. Human Child Logic, written by Farm Witch 4275. Captain Reginald Dwight stood on the bridge of his ship, the Saucy Sue, little more than a simple mining barge that grabbed asteroids and stripped them of resources. He was nervous, pacing, checking, rechecking, and then checking again. It wasn't due to the fact that he had the lives of 87 people on his every choice. It wasn't that if they didn't get the juicy enough asteroid that they wouldn't be able to afford fuel. It wasn't a threat of a rogue asteroid or an occasional pirate extortion attempt. No, his pacing and nervous behavior was of a fatherly nature. Ensign, has anybody seen my son anywhere? Last reported in the mess, Captain. Why? Is there a problem? She responded. No, it's just, our new friends, the Olivarchian. He's scared crapless of spiders. Reginald resigned himself to his seat, but maintained his nervous demeanor. Uh-oh. It was no joke either. Olivarchus were gigantic 8-legged anthropods that resembled a certain species of wolf spider, and they were the size of a fully grown cow, not including the legs. They were, however, fully sentient just like humans, and they had a strangely similar social structure. One aspect that made humans nervous to be around them was the fact that there were giant, fecking spiders. Other than that, they were quite fun to be around. The captain's son, a 7-year-old boy with a notorious case of arachnophobia, had to be brought on during the trip owing to his mother's business commitments and a lack of extended family this far out in the room. Owing to the fact that 15 of his 80 crew members were Olivarchians, he was terrified his son would freak out to the point of a coma at the sight of one. But he had little choice in the matter. As the captain settled into his seat, a great commotion was heard outside. Moments later, astride one of the Olivarchians was his son, waving a cowboy hat in the air. "Horsey go zoom!" the child squealed in delight as they charged into the bridge, did a loop around the captain's chair, and then charged out the other door. Everyone, especially the captain, was conflicted, half trying to figure out what in the hell just happened, and also trying not to collapse from laughter. The captain caught his mind and yelled, "Jeremy, get back here! That means you too, Staff Sergeant Mathis!" he yelled down the corridor. The two returned moments later and stood in front of him. How are you in trouble, sir?" Mathis said, his translator making sense of clicking mouthparts. "I'm on my break." The captain looked at his son, previously terrified of spiders, now sitting astride one the size of a cow and having the time of his life. You're scared of spiders?" "Yes, I am. There isn't one here, is there?" the child said, frantically looking around for creepy crawlies. You are riding one." He was scarcely able to comprehend what he was going on. "I am?" The boy looked down. "That's not a spider." "And how have you come to that conclusion exactly?" "It's wearing a hat," the child said, pointing at the small sombrero, the spider's head just above its eyes. "Spiders don't wear hats." Was all the captain could say. "Besides, he's not a spider, he's an arthropod. An arthropod. Did I say that right?" Mathis nodded. "Yeah, see, spiders don't wear hats. Arthropods do. Not a spider." Reginald's jaw was on the floor, the sheer flawless logic of his 7-year-old son. Was all that he could muster. The two looked at him. "What's up, cowpoke?" Mathis clicked in response. Did I break him or something? I think he's broken, the child said, looking down at his steed. Nah, it's fine. Captains do this all the time. They do thinky stuff. Want to get some popcorn? Popcorn! The child excitedly said again, throwing his hands in the air. Mathis then made engine noises with his mouth and charged out of the room, heading towards the cafeteria. It was at this point that Reginald completely lost it and began to wheeze out a jovial laugh. The entire crew present likewise broke out into a gale of hysterical laughter as the captain collapsed out of his seat from laughing too hard. End of story. I'd quickly like to thank the T5 channel members and patrons. Caspar Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Lord Azrakal, Dragzoon WRE, Holly Sister, Ambrose Cattell, and Quantum Wednesday. Thank you very much.